Hello, my friends. Russ and the West End Network. Hope you're all safe and all happy Thursday. Happy Thursday lunchtime. Now, for anyone new to the channel, about twice a week, we do the Russy Rumour Roundup, the original rumour rating, where we aggregate all the latest rumours, ITKs, gossip, and condense them and report them back to you, so you don't have to do all this type of stuff. Now, from the outset, I am not saying we are signing all of these players, or indeed any of these players we cover today. But the idea is we talk about what's been mentioned in the press or ITK or whatever. We look at the player, and then we come up with our conclusions, and we use the Russy Rumour Racing, the original rumour rating, my friends. Got so excited. I hit the microphone. We have been linked with 100 and... what are we on? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 114 players. And we can't buy anyone. Can't buy anyone anyway because its transfer window's closed. As we have the weird transfer sort of dual sort of window this year. But anyway, let's crack into it, and let's crack on like Donkey Kong and talk about striker. Now, actually, this morning I did a sort of Russy rant, morning musing about when do we press the panic button? When do we press it? Have you already pressed the panic button? Go back and watch that and let me know. It was a stream of consciousness. So I went on a bit of a ramble, but I got off my chest. We know that there's areas which we need to identify. I think it's basically all over the fucking pitch, to be honest. But striker is an area which we know there is. We know now. Technically, obviously, Danny Ings has left. Antonio has left as well. Really, we've only got within the first team one recognised striker in Nicholas Falkirk. I don't rate Bowen or Kudus as strikers as such. We've only got one centre forward. Also, with Evan Ferguson going back from his loan spell as well. So we need to bring in some. Yes, we've got guys below. We've got the likes of Josh Ajala, and actually we've got Daniel Cummings coming in as well. But I think Josh needs at least a season and a half, if not 2 seasons out on loan, personally speaking, having seen a lot of him up front and personal. But strikers an area we're looking at. And old Hamza Igmane is a player that we have been linked with, the 22-year-old Moroccan international Rangers striker, 5'11". He has I think last season it was really sort of a breakout season for him in the SPL. And that hasn't gone unnoticed with a number of Premier League and League Art sides after him. Several top-tier French sides and Premier League sides are closely monitoring his availability, his movements, ahead of what could be a very competitive summer pursuit for him. The likes of us, Everton, Brentford, according to reporting Foot Mercato, are all interested in signing him, as well as a number of other clubs in League A. He signed for just under €2.5 million from Asfar Rabat last July. And he finished the season with 16 goals and 3 assists in 46 appearances. The article suggests that we have expressed an interest in signing him, as well as Everton and Brentford. All three really are looking at reshaping their forward line. You know, Everton, Dominic Calvert-Lewin's leaving out of contract. Obviously, we've Antonio, Danny Ings, Brentford, Brian Mbeumo looks like he's off as well. So we're all looking for a new forward line. Rangers will reportedly look for a fee of around €15 million for the 22-year-old, but they're under no pressure to sell. Only the player could really force that move. They don't need to sell. But he ticks a lot of boxes. You know, there is a physical nature to Hamza. I don't think he's not the tall. He's not, obviously not 6 foot plus, but he's a bit of a unit of a man. He's quick, and he ticks a lot of boxes. Obviously knows the Scottish game, but obviously not necessarily the Premier League in terms of the pace of the Premier League. So there could be an adaptability potential there issue. But I think there's a decent chance. I know there's another. Obviously, I think possibly Lucas Stassin is someone I think is a number one choice, really. But bringing in someone like Hamza as well, he can obviously play on both sides as well. If we do sell someone like Kudus, he could come in and, not saying a direct replacement, but come in and play that on the side, on the wing, possibly. I'm going to give it a Lamar. The Russy Rumour rating, the original Rumour rating, because I just think, I mean, the fact is almost 120 players who've been linked with. So, the money looks right. If we're skint, what's that, 12 and a half, 30 million quid? That seems really cheap. Really cheap. But then I suppose Lucas is going to cost you about 15 million as well, maybe. So you could get both of them for less than 30 million quid. Both young as well. Don't know. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about Hamza. Let's talk centre halves. Now, one of the players we've been linked with is the Independiente. No, sorry, he wasn't. Sorry, that's the wrong badge. He was playing for Independiente, but he's actually on loan from Red Bull Bragantino. That'll do, whatever, Red Bull. And that is the West Ham supporting Argentinian centre half Kevin Lamonaco. It's probably not La Monaco. It's probably La Monaco. Kev. The 23-year-old is a pressed on loan at Independiente, and actually earned his first call up to the Argentinian full international squad for the first time. It's claimed that he has a release clause of just under 15 million quid, and that has interested and perked interest from the likes of West Ham and Real Betis as well. He has been labelled as the best centre back in South America, and certainly seems a real deal, and could be the perfect partner alongside, Mats Kilman and Jean-Claire, for example, as part of Potter's preferred back three, particularly with Naif looking to move on. And he's a West Ham fan as well, apparently, according to reports. So the 15 million quid release clause is an interesting one. And again, when we're looking at when hopefully we do have money to spend, getting the most bang for the buck for a 23-year-old international centre half. He's a big lad as well, 6'4". He's good with the ball in his feet. I don't think it's a bad signing. Yes, there was always going to be an issue, and that's the risk you take when you bring in players who haven't got Premier League experience in terms of that adaptability into the Premier League. But I think there's a lot of boxes ticked with Kevin. And we'll get Ben, our new channel analyst, maybe to have a look at Kevin's stats and a report back like we did with Richard Rios. I'm going to give it a 60% with the Russy Rumour rating, the original Rumour rating, because I just think with this data-driven approach we're taking, people like Kevin's going to come up, and the stars are aligning a little bit. There's the fact he's a West Ham fan is buys a buy. That's a fan thing rather than this. That's not going to be necessarily a plus point for him signing it. Although it might mean that he's more committed to cold night on Tuesday night in Stoke type thing. But he's good age, good price. He's got a lot of good attributes going. So the stars are aligning a little bit. And the last Kevin we had was all right, wasn't it? Kevin Nolan. He was all right. Now let's talk about Yunus Musah. Now this is a really interesting one. 22-year-old United States international, currently playing his trade at AC Milan. Now, according to Cassio Mercato, my favourite Italian news outlet, yesterday, it's said that he is very likely to sign for Napoli in the coming weeks. Napoli looks like they're signing Kevin De Bruyne as well. And Jonathan David was looking at going to Napoli as well. And according to reports, the two parties have already agreed on personal terms already. They just haven't agreed on the fee. Now, what's interesting as well is the article itself spoke about and named West Ham reportedly making a last stitch attempt to sign the midfield as they look to insert themselves into the deal. Now, it does seem, according to the article, that's been futile, so to speak, as negotiations between AC Milan and Napoli are already at an advanced stage. But I thought we had no money. So someone's lying. Either the article in Calcio Mercato is lying and they haven't, but why would they name check West Ham if they hadn't? They would have just picked a name out of the sky, particularly at something at quite advanced stages already. There is another school of thought which says that we have money and we have done it, or we have, and so therefore there's been there's been sort of a what's the word? All the news about us not being, I can't think of the word, all the news about us being skint is false. And it's been put out there maybe as a negotiation tactic. We've done it before, haven't we? We've done it before. The third option is that we knew we weren't going to get him have a chance anyway. We just put a bid in, a phantom bid, which we've got form doing that as well. But then that phantom bid really contradicts why, if we had no money. So I don't really agree with it. I don't really understand the sort of theory behind it being a phantom bid. If then it contradicts, that's the word, contradicts. I'll get there eventually. It contradicts the whole thing around us having no money to spend, because then that just confuses. That just from a business perspective, that makes no sense at all. So I think we did. I think we tried to nip in there quickly. Eunice is someone that we've been tracking for a few years, and we've been looking at before. I think it was at Valencia, wasn't he? For went to AC Milan, and he's someone we've looked at before. And people say, "Oh, we looked at other Moyes while we look him under Potter." The same names will crop up if they're good players, because everyone has access to data. So Eunice is a very good player, and I think he would do a really good job for us at West Ham. He's got that sort of energy, pace, drive. Not the tallest, but compact. You know, what's his face? N'Golo Kante wasn't the biggest guy in the world, but he could fucking run at midfield if he wanted to and dominate and get stuck in. And Eunice has got that, but I think he has a bit more pace wise going forward. It looks like it's futile, the bid. It looks like it's already going to be. Napoli looks like they're going to sign, but it just didn't sit right. Actually, by doing that, you've actually asked more questions than the actual thing of doing it. If you just hadn't done it, then people would have gone, well, you're contradicting yourself completely there. If you haven't got no money, why are you doing this? I don't know. The Russy rating, the original rating, is giving this 10%, a 10% chance, which probably means we'll fucking sign him, because these things just look, the amount of times we've gone last year, I literally clipped it, like us saying, we're not going to sign Somerville, we're not going to sign this player, and we signed fucking all of them, you know what I mean? So, we've got a few names off that 115 list. Obviously, the likes of Liam Delap and Joe Bellingham and Keller, the goalkeeper. Mamadou Sarr signed for Chelsea from Strasbourg, but there's still a lot still on there who are still in play. A few may be taken off very, very shortly, and maybe Eunice will be one of those as well. But what do you think about that whole Eunice thing? I don't know why. I can't, and I know journalists have journalistic license or poetic license, but to name check out of all the clubs in the world, the one club who says they haven't got any money, it just doesn't make sense. Don't make sense to me. Don't add up. Anyway, I'll be back a bit later on, probably, or Anton, one of us will do Hammer's headlines. I'm sure there'll be another 20 people being linked to by the time we talk about each other. We see you again in the afternoon. Until next time, take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith, my bloody friends. And don't forget, if you want to win a Paladin Canio shirt, you've got 2 chances. You can go to Football Prizes. I think it's like £2 or 99p or something like that, for the opportunity to win a Power of the Kanye shirt. As obviously you can win a Defoe shirt. What the fuck would you want to win a Defoe shirt? But anyway, or you can hit the raffle button down there and get yourself one. It's in my hand. It's not framed, but it is from the big man. That runs out this evening, and there's probably about, I think there's about 30 people who have got tickets. So you got a good chance there. Good chance. And there's Stuart with a loot. I think Stuart bought 1 ticket and he won it, and he won the Jared Bowen shirt. So yeah, one of our channel members. But yeah, we've got some good shirts coming up. You know, you might want to keep an eye on the channel. But anyway, take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith. See you soon. Much love. Bye bye. Don't know why I kissed, but anyway, bye bye.